It's Sunday, which means it's time for the Sunday News Roundup. We're going to get right to it. But before we do that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, send it to a friend. We really need to grow this channel, and that way we can grow and bring you more content. Okay, but we're going to go right to it. We're going to start with the new faces of Democratic leadership, which appeared on the Sunday shows. We're going to start with the new Democrat minority whip, Catherine Clark. She has a few things to say about FTX cryptocurrency. Let's take a listen.
I want to ask you about FTX, the fallen FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried. He's given nearly $40 million to Democratic causes over the last campaign cycle. I believe $6 million went to the House Majority PAC, another $1 million to the Senate side of things. Do you think the Democratic Party got itself too tied up with the crypto industry in general?
So the question that he's asking, Chuck Todd's actually asking a very good question here, which is, this guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, donated tens of millions of dollars. He was actually the second biggest donor to the Democrats outside of George Soros. So asking a very, very good question to Catherine Clark.
You know, FTX is a cautionary tale for all of us who are looking at how do we regulate crypto? How do we make sure that we are embracing what might be new technologies and currencies, but also making sure that consumers have accountability and transparency.
Okay. How do we regulate crypto? So she's going straight to regulations. This is the Democratic playbook. Okay. That's what they're saying. How are we regulating crypto? What are we going to do? Now, there are legitimate concerns, but crypto regulation aside, Sam Bankman-Fried is under investigation for existing crimes. Like, there's no legitimate difference at this point in what Sam Bankman-Fried did that needs to regulate crypto. But she is using this as an excuse to do larger regulations on the cryptocurrency market, which have nothing to do with Sam Bankman-Fried. But she's going to use Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX to regulate the rest of crypto, which is what you want to do anyway.
And let me remind you that it is the Democrats who make sure that we are pushing laws to get dark money out of our politics so that people can see who's funding our campaigns. That is met.
Okay. That is as rich as it comes. Democrats have outspent Republicans this election cycle at least 2-1 in most places. Some places, like in New Hampshire, 19-1. It is incredible how much Democrats are outspending Republicans. And you're saying that the Democrats are the ones who want to get money out of politics? They say dark money out of politics. Now, what they mean by dark money is that they want to have lists of every single person who donates money to Republicans for the purpose of persecuting those people, of punishing them. That is what Democrats want to do. That's not dark money. That's not being coy and stuff like that. People want to maintain a certain level of anonymity, so they go through PACs, they go through other sources, because nothing illegal. Everything is totally above board. But the idea is that you don't want to be the next head of Mozilla Firefox or the next head of Chick-fil-A or anything like that, or Home Depot, or all these places, all these very wealthy people who have certain beliefs that align with Republican values, and they get shellacked by the media, because that's what the Democrats want. They want to create public pressure on any Republican donor in order to get them to not donate to the Republican, which means that Republican donors actually have to grow a backbone, which is very hard to do. It is hard to hear that pressure, especially when it comes to hit your business. All right, we're going to forget about this one for a second. We're gonna go straight to this other clip of her, which I thought was great. Just we're gonna play this one.
But they've also given us a model to become our own leaders. And let me tell you what it means to me coming in as a different generation. I remember my middle child waking up with nightmares over concern around climate change.
Oh no, her middle child waking up in the middle of the night with nightmares that concerned about climate change. Let me tell you something, okay? That's on you. That is on you. That is on the content that you allow your kids to watch and to absorb. And that's you not when they come to you when they're awake and they say, "What's the deal with this?" You are not alleviating those fears because they are ridiculous. Okay? Your middle child, assuming they were born yesterday, which they weren't, will be 100 years old before any effects of climate change hit, which it will be very gradual. That is not something to wake up over a nightmare over. Okay, so now we have the Democrat House Whip, the new Democrat minority whip, the one who is third in command over the Democrat Party in the House of Representatives, is pushing climate fear, climate alarmism. I mean, this isn't shocking. This is just standard stuff. But any hope that this person was going to be a little bit more normal is completely gone. I have no hope that the Democrat Party is moderating at all. Let's continue on. Speaking of not moderating at all, we got Antony Blinken. Sorry that a little early. We got Antony Blinken on State of the Union, the Jake Tapper, talking about the Iran deal.
Are nuclear negotiations with Iran still ongoing?
First, let's remember how we got here. We had a nuclear agreement with Iran reached by the Obama administration. It put Iran's nuclear program in a box. Unfortunately, getting out of that agreement, which was the decision of our predecessor administration, has allowed Iran to push its program out of the box. We've gone from having a breakout time, that is the amount of time it would take to produce enough fissile material for a nuclear weapon, under the agreement was more than 1 year. Now it's down to a matter of weeks. That's the situation that we find ourselves in. We continue to believe that ultimately diplomacy is the most effective way to deal with this, but that's not where the focus is.
Okay. Let's just take what he said at face value here. It put the nuclear deal in a box. What about the ballistic missile thing? That was out of the box. What about funding terrorism in the Middle East? That was out of the box. What about expanding their territorial ambition, making a land bridge all the way across the Middle East through Libya, Lebanon, Jordan, all these places? They wanted to make a land bridge all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. That was out of the box. What about not giving them pallets of cash? That was out of the box. The Iran deal was garbage. The Iran deal was garbage. One of Trump's best moves was on foreign policy and was getting rid of that Iran deal. Okay? Oh, wait. So we're supposed to feel better, Antony Blinken, even at your best estimate, that when the Iran deal expired, they would have under a year, they would have a nuclear weapon, and now it's just a matter of weeks. So that's your best explanation. Your best explanation bought us maybe 10 months, maybe, to Iran having a nuclear bomb. You got nothing better. And at the same time, they were funding a bevy of terrorist activities all around the Middle East, killing Americans, attacking Israel via their proxies in Hezbollah in the north, Hamas in the west, in the west of Israel, Fatah in the east. That's your best case scenario. And the Biden administration is not learning one thing. And let's keep this in mind. This is in the middle of Iran having massive protests all around their country. They just executed four people today or yesterday because they were collaborators with Israel. This is the Iran he's talking about. It was the idea of a moderate Iran was pushed on a lie by Ben Rhodes. And this is the deal that Antony Blinken wants to get back into and blames it on the Trump administration. Complete garbage. Okay, now here's the main event. Okay, we got Hakeem Jeffries, the new head of a minority leader in the House of Representatives, if the Democrats take over the House in 2, 4, 6 years, whatever it is, hopefully it'll never happen again, but we all know it will. He will likely be Speaker of the House at some point in the future. This is him talking about when he was asked, he's being accused of being an election denier because he literally denied the legitimacy of the Trump presidency throughout the Trump presidency. So he was asked about this. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
But you did say that history will never accept Donald Trump as a legitimate president, and the Republicans are making quite a big issue out of that. What is your response?
Well, here's the Republican playbook. Facts don't matter. Hypocrisy is not a constraint to their behavior. And in many cases, they believe that shamelessness is a superpower. My view of the situation has been pretty clear. I supported the certification of Donald Trump's election. I attended his inauguration, even though...
Well, thank you for that. Which one is this? This is D2 of R2 and D2. D2, please get out of here. Trying to do something here. All right. Well, all right. So that was Hakeem Jeffries saying that he is on the side of the righteous, that he is non-election denier. Here's a bunch of instances of him saying the exact opposite. Here's number
Russia
one.
Interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful.
Here's number two.
Seems to me that there's a cloud of illegitimacy that continues to hang over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and that patriotic Americans have a responsibility to try to figure out what the heck happened in terms of the malignant tumor that seemed to have been embedded in that 2016 campaign. What did the president know?
Regular order.
When did he know it?
Regular order.
And how do we prevent this type of malignant activity from happening again?
I don't think not attending the inauguration, for instance, would be disrespecting that principle in this particular situation, because John Lewis is completely right. There is a cloud of illegitimacy around the election of Donald Trump. The Russians interfered with his election. James Comey and the FBI interfered with his election. The fake news industry interfered with his election.
Incredible. He talks about shamelessness on the Republican side. At the same time that he was saying that he wouldn't allow, he attended the inauguration. He also defended John Lewis for not attending the inauguration.
There's a cloud of illegitimacy and corruption hanging over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The only way for that to be removed is for us to have a full, fair, and independent investigation, and the special counsel is likely to deliver that.
Incredible.
The American people deserve to know whether Donald Trump
so we have
is
five
either
different
A,
ones.
legitimate president, B, a Russian asset, C, the functional equivalent of an organized crime boss, or D, just a useful idiot who happens to have been victimized by the greatest collection of coincidences in the history of the Republic.
So on multiple occasions, Hakeem Jeffries denied the legitimacy of the Trump presidency. And that's not even to show all the times he tweeted stuff and made statements and all this kind of stuff. Those are just a few clips that was found by RNC Research that he put out, that Twitter handle put out. Just a few clips of Hakeem Jeffries denying elections over and over. Then he talks about how Republicans are shameless, Republicans are liars, all these names he's throwing at Republicans. And then he wants to have bipartisanship? What, is that even possible with this guy? It's not possible with this guy. He has no intention of bipartisanship ever. He is an obstructionist. He is a radical. He is more radical than Nancy Pelosi. The Democrats are pushing further and further and further to their extremes every single time. For now, they're in the minority, a slim, bare minority. But they keep pushing it. They keep pushing the extremes. So Hakeem Jeffries needs to be called out every single time for being an election denier, because that's the words that he uses. I think that's a ridiculous phrase, election denier. That phrase is a garbage phrase because nobody's denying any elections that they exist. They think if you have a question about the legitimacy of an election, we're an open and free society, we're an open and free electorate. You can have as many questions as you want. That doesn't matter. And in a field of free ideas and open exchange and dialogue, I can easily say you're an idiot for your questions, that they're stupid. But that doesn't make you a terrible person. That doesn't make you, it just makes you stupid. And Hakeem Jeffries, you pushed lies for years. You pushed them. That's what you did. That's who you are. All right. Last clip. Just had to get this in there because it's just so good. Bibi Netanyahu was asked if he supports Trump in 2024. Take a look at this.
Would you like to see Donald Trump as president again? On this one. Would you like to see Donald Trump as president again?
Oh God, I've had enough of my politics. I've just gone through 4 of our elections. You want me to get into your elections? Keep me out of it.
Would you like to see him as American president, though? Is that good for Israel in your mind?
Well, let me say that I'll deal with anyone who's elected president, those that I worked with in the past, and anyone new who comes to the plate, because of the bond between Israel and America, and this is not a shibboleth. This is not just a saying. It really is a bond of peoples, and it's a civilizational bond, and it's strong. I'll deal with anyone, and I certainly will not step on that landmine that you just put before me, Chuck. Come on, I've been in this business long enough, and so have you. Keep trying.
Fair enough, and I appreciate you asking me to keep trying.
So that's a really solid answer by a master politician, because Bibi loves Trump for good reason. Okay, Trump was great to Israel, really great, and moving the embassy just scratches the surface of it. He recognized the Golan Heights. He recognized the legitimacy of the settlements in Yehuda v'Shomron. He helped fund with the Iron Dome. He helped with It's not even just that. It's that he was so strong on Israel that his very persona prevented reprisals from Hamas, from Mahmoud Abbas. Everything basically calmed down for a long time in Israel. And then after Trump left in May 2021, it all basically started back up again. And now we're having a whole rash of terrorist attacks. So the idea that Netanyahu wouldn't like Trump to be the president of the United States of America is actually hilarious, because Netanyahu would love for Trump to be president. Trump has actually like a 76, 77% rating, approval rating in Israel in 2019, 2020, last time that I saw those numbers. He had incredibly high approval ratings in Israel. He's a very beloved American president. But Netanyahu has to deal with Biden for the next 2 years. Netanyahu is going to be the next prime minister. He already has a fraught relationship with the Democrats. He has a fraught relationship with the entirety of the left wing in the world, let alone the American left wing. So he has to deal with them for the next 2 years at least. So he's not going to step on that landmine, as he put it. But a masterful answer from a master politician. So that just had to end with that, because BB always cracks me up. That's it for tonight. Just make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And make sure to spread the word. We want to really up the ante with these videos. We want to keep bringing it to you. Godspeed, and have a good one.